You guys remember the old indie game called SLENDERMAN that blew up back in the day because of how scary it was? It was pretty nerve-wracking wandering aimlessly throughout a blacked-out forest with nothing but a flashlight, all the while being stalked by a monster wearing a black suit and a completely erased face. I personally never played the original game because I don't have a PC. I played reboots on mobile devices, but it wasn't the same. Although the video game became very popular because of the concept, Slenderman was actually real in myths and legends. The creature would lure children into the woods where it resided, and they were never seen again. Even after the game hit its peak in popularity, a real crime was committed in the name of this mythical monster, attempting to sacrifice a real person to the forest. As you can tell, this ideology of Slenderman really caught on and sparked a lot of controversy because of the subject matter. But it was also fun to play the game with a group of friends and freak out together over the jump scares, just like any horror game. Now we fast forward to present day. The game has died down, and the legend was almost forgotten, until now at least, because the Slenderman movie is being released soon. We've known about this for a while, but now it's getting more and more hype. I really don't know how I feel about the movie, considering the subject matter influenced a real crime that caused people serious trauma. But if we look at this trailer from a cinematic point of view, the movie kinda looks boring, and it seems like it's a Ring spin-off. Of course, we can't judge a book by its cover just yet, but I don't know, to be honest. When I watched the trailer, they barely showed the monster himself, and the characters seemed boring and two-dimensional. This is kinda what I talked about in my last horror movie video. Like, if characters are shit, no one will care if they die or something. I'm not sure if they're basing the movie off of the legend or the game. It seems like it's more so the legend, because characters in the trailer said that Slenderman would get into your head and drive you insane until you finally give in to him. What they should do is make a movie about the game, incorporate the legend in the forest filled with the papers you had to collect in-game as well. Because in the game's core story, the papers you collected were left by previous Slenderman victims, stuck to trees and other things as a warning to potential victims. But they were slowly going insane and forgetting who they were, so the drawings were botched and vague. This made the mystery that much more tense, not knowing what you're up against until you finally see him. Maybe a story about a young boy who was always haunted by Slenderman, but he was too strong-willed and smart to be lured in by him. But when he gets older, he becomes an investigator who keeps getting cases of missing children in his hometown. The town could be shaken by this outbreak of missing people, kinda like how the town in It was. The investigator would soon have nightmares about the monster he always dealt with as a kid, so he checks out this old forest outside of his town that no one dare goes near, because they hear strange noises at night, and they could even see the outline of a tall man standing near trees or other things disguised by the darkness. The investigator would take several trips to the forest throughout the movie. Each trip would change him, slowly and subtly. He would start to become brainwashed almost, and he would have outbursts against his loved ones. The forest would change him until he went back for a final time to fight the monster himself. During his trips, he would also find papers with scribbles and drawings. He would conduct a web of all these pictures to try to figure out what exactly was happening. But when he collects all the pictures, Slender himself would appear, and the investigator, now a fully capable adult, would fight the creature off in an epic battle. He wouldn't be able to look at his face though, because if he did, he would slowly lose consciousness and hear a faint static ringing in his ears, kinda like a Medusa effect. He would have nothing but a flashlight and a pistol, like in the original game. That'd be a cool concept, right? I'm not saying this original movie is going to be bad or anything. I hope it won't be. It's an iffy subject because, as said before, it influenced a real tragedy, but was also a video game. But when was the last time we watched a decent video game movie? As I said before, I don't want this movie to be bad, and I also don't want the concept of Slender and the forest he resides in to be ruined by a mediocre or subpar movie. But at the same time, this was influenced by a real tragedy, and to shed light on a situation like that is not something I would really consider doing. But at the end of the day, Slenderman was just a concept and an urban legend, and was soon turned into a video game. But tell me, what do you think of this? Do you think it's going to be a good movie? Do you think it's going to be bad? Do you think it's going to fall under the same principles that every horror movie nowadays has? Let me know in the comments what you think, and if you like this video, give this one a thumbs up, and if you want to see more Rage Quit content, then press that sub box and the bell on the side, and I will see you on the next one.